Nigerian government has dropped a treasonable felony charge preferred against Omoyele Sowore, a publisher of Sahara Reporters and proponent of the hashtag Revolution Now movement. The decision to discontinue the trial was communicated to the Federal High Court in Abuja by notice of discontinuance dated February 14th and filed by Lateef Fagbemi, Attorney General of the Federation. During the Buhari era, Sowore and his supporters, who make up the hashtag Revolution Now movement, had skirmishes with security agencies in the country's capital, Abuja, as the group called for accountable governance. During his trial, instituted in 2019, a Federal High Court issued him a restraining order against his moving out of Abuja pending completion of the case. Well, presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, joins us now. It's good to have you with us as always. Now, just to give us a background, a brief one, as to why treason charges were served on you initially by the federal government. Give us an insight on that.
Well, they claim that the Revolution Now protest scheduled for August 5, 2019 was intended to overthrow the government. And that, I had meetings with secessionists, and that I also caused the president to be afraid for his life. So they charged me for cybercrime, and also charged me for money laundering, claiming that I laundered money from my account in the U.S. to my Nigerian account. But they later dropped the cybercrime charges, cyber stalking charges, and that of money laundering. And then retained a treasonable felony. But they, as usual, had no witness. They had no evidence. They only came with one witness, and the witness even testified in my support. And that's a DSS witness. But regardless, what I think they were doing was to obtain conviction without trial. And they did that successfully to a large extent because they kept me in Abuja for 3 years, restricted to the city of Abuja for 3 years. And they restricted me to Nigeria for almost 5 years now. And several other things have happened to me. I've been rearrested after that. I have 2 other criminal cases instituted against me by Nigerian police for what they call unlawful assembly in 2021, and another one where they claim I was involved in cybercrime against the now Senator Ned Nwoko. So those charges are still pending. They broke my nose. They shot at me at a protest with a federal riot gun. Almost disabled me physically. And then, as you are aware, my brother was killed, assassinated on his way from school between Sowore and Benin City during that period. My mother, had stroke. Several things, they crippled my finances, seized my means of communication. The DSS still have my phones despite court orders asking them to release them almost 2 years ago. So they abducted me also, as you're aware, from the courtroom, and I think it was in December. So there was nothing these guys did not do just to try to break me.
Well, thank you for sharing that experience in spite of the fact that it's clearly a painful one. But you, like you rightly said, you still have 2 cases pending. But with this charge that's been dropped, do you feel a sense of vindication?
Oh, there's no question. I'd predicted even before I was arrested that this was going to happen, that they would come after me. I knew they would come after me since, since 2018 in particular, when I came out as a presidential candidate, and I was speaking to issues affecting the country. And then when we started the Revolution Now movement, I knew definitely they will. So I predicted that they would come after me, but I warned them that this was not going anywhere. Because, as I said on this station yesterday, there is no judge that's ever succeeded in trying history. We're just carrying out a historical duty, and we knew that this was not going to go anywhere. But they also had their own plans, and that's what they went out and did exactly. So the vindication came even before the persecution.
All right, you're seeking 100 billion naira in damages from the federal government for trauma and, of course, losses over the treason trial. Do you have confidence in Nigeria's judiciary to have your prayers answered?
I'm going to try it here, and I'm going to engage in multi-jurisdictional litigation There are case laws around the world that shows that you can actually sue the federal government. You can sue their assets if it's located in any bank, or even if it's a physical asset. If they have engaged in torture, they have abused power. We have precedents. I think there was recently a guy who won $21 million, 21 million pounds, which was as a result of these activities of the lawless DSS. He was abducted the same way, abused over a contractual matter. And by the way, the DSS went to an FCT court just last week, to abduct a businessman over a contractual matter. And it was also Falana that was handling that case. They abducted him, detained him for 3 days, and released him. They still do this. They still go into courtrooms to abduct people. So I intend to engage in litigation across the world. Wherever it is possible to get this justice, I will go for it. But I will also sue them at home.
Duly noted. Now, for someone who's been watching your story or watching your life play out over the years and seeing what has happened, I believe that was yesterday, what message do you hope that this step, since you're not out of the woods yet, what message do you hope this sends to people about freedom of speech, specifically in Nigeria?
No, I'm not in any woods. I've made it very clear that I never felt restricted, even when I was in detention. And the DSS testified to this, that I was somehow able to organize even from detention. Don't forget I was arrested even before Revolution Now protest. And it still happened in 26 states across Nigeria. So my example is to tell whomever is towing my part what could happen to you. But it's also to let you know that the truth will always prevail, no matter how long it takes, and that you can defeat government if you fight on the side of justice, and if your fight is right, if your conscience tells you what you're doing is right. So that is what I have to tell you. I don't want it to sound like, oh, people should be discouraged. No, I want young people to see me as an example of someone who can stand up to any adversary and adversity and win. And this is not my first time. I won against my university when I was in university and expelled twice. Each time I was reabsorbed back into the university and I never went to beg anybody. Even when during this period the government sent a delegation led by Issa Funtua late and Shehu Garuba and some senior journalists in this country, publishers, I told them I can't apologize to them. They asked my lawyer, Femi Falana, to let me to apologize so that I could go. I should apologize to Buhari. I said, it's not possible. So I opted to spend 5 months in detention instead of 2 weeks, just because I refused to apologize.
That's quite achievable there. All right, staying on the path of justice, if we may digress a little as well, looking back at the last elections and going forward, what plans do you have in improving your relations with the electorate and offering a viable alternative generally when it comes to future elections?
I don't have any problem with the electorates. The problem is that they don't let the electorates prevail in elections. I don't have any problems with the electorates. I made it very clear during that last election that I could obtain the leadership of this country. But we have to play by the rules. You have to conduct elections so that people who are capable of winning elections can win elections. But when you don't conduct elections, you do selections, you cannot be talking about the electorates. Then you are talking about selectorates. And there are only a few people. They don't vote. They don't care about you. They don't care about your votes. And I made this clear. My position has been very clear. And I think I came on this channel, you asked me, why are you not going to court? That was after the election. I told you it's, waste of time, bloody waste of our time to go to court. I already knew what would be the outcome of the court. And you can listen to you can watch the video again. I'm sure you'll see what I told you. And that's exactly what happened. Everything I said about the economy during the election, when they said they will float Naira, they will remove subsidy, And some of these, I love to call them fake economic analysts that you bring on your show sometimes, saying that, oh, if you remove you remove the corruption, and the life of the money will be reinvested in the life of the people. What has happened now? You have removed subsidy. You have floated the naira. The naira has become toilet paper. You floated it and it fell into the toilet. So and honestly, the media is not doing enough in challenging those guys who come and lie to you that this country will become a better country the day after you remove subsidy, or that when you float the naira, all these fake economics that you bring on your shows. You don't challenge that. You don't call them out and say, but you said this. How come we are not benefiting from which road has been built since you removed the subsidy? You only have sorrow, tears, and blood and insecurity. And I tell you, this number one source of insecurity is hunger, starvation, and unemployment. That's number one. So if you like, you can go and obtain all the guns in the world. China has done it before. It was not until China came back and started building their country and bringing economic prosperity that they had peace. You can't have peace in the middle of hunger. So you can't have peace when you are listening to all this IMF, what I call international monetary fraud, and World Bank policies that have never worked before. They will come back to you in another 10 years and tell you their policies didn't work. But they would have ruined the life of your people. They would have destroyed your currency. Look at all the African countries. Nigeria's currency is the worst. Nigeria's currency is weaker than the CFA. That is Cotonou's currency. I'm talking about Benin Republic. So what are we talking about? And I spoke about all these things, and to the credit of the media, they said I was not experienced, that they need experienced thieves in government. Now you have them. You have them.
Well, as we round up with you, based on the experience that you had in the last election, regardless of how it played out, I'm just wondering what your political future looks like in Nigeria if you still have plans to, contest in elections or whatnot.
My political future is not tied to elections. I've said this so many times. It's tied to the ability of the people to take back their country. That's where my political future lies. You can have 100 more elections. You will not obtain good leadership under the circumstances that we are in now. They have rigged even the 2027 elections with 11 new members in the Supreme Court that you and I don't even know their background. They have rigged the election with the new members of federal commissioners appointed into INEC who are members of APC. So in 2027, we will come and be crying again on each other's shoulder that what did we not do wrong? So they are going to do the same routine of registered voters. The NGOs will ask you to go and register to vote. INEC will say we are ready. And then on election day, they will tell you that the laws are different from what the courts are saying. And then you go to court, the courts are waiting for you to say, look, we have never had a cancellation of a presidential election in this country before. Never. So go and wait for a political future that is tied to these people. You wait forever. So my political future is not tied to this. My political future is tied to liberation. I'm as free as bird, as long as what we are doing becomes mainstream, as long as everybody understands that there is no political future in Nigeria's current political system.
All right, on that note, pro-democracy activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore would like to thank you for your thoughts on those issues, and we wish you the best of luck with regards to your prayers.